Hey everyone, it is Heather Hurt with the NRW with our main man, Kuya P. We're going to talk about Cheaper by the Dozen today, guys. We've had this for like a week and a half now, and honestly, we've been pretty excited about talking to talk about it. But to start out, I've said this on many videos before. I never ever stand up on a soapbox. Never done it. But with this being the second film that brings up many, not controversial, it's conversations that we need to have. I want to take a moment to speak to fellow critics out there. These films are not, and I'm talking about films in general, are not all made for you. As a critic, it is your responsibility to take a step back and look at it from the purview of the audience. Not every film is going to be made for you. And if you cannot take a step back and see that and be unbiased in your responses, you should not be critiquing that film. Period.
Bravo. Well said. Yeah, I completely agree.
Turning Red is not for cis white men who are middle-aged. But if you cannot take yourself out of that, I'm sorry. Anyway, getting back to Cheaper by the Dozen, that actually turns into why I asked Kuya P to join me today. Cheaper by the Dozen is not a remake. It is not a reboot. It is a reimagining of the classic movie. I believe came out in the 1970s. And y'all walked into this film. Gonna say it's completely blown away. It is this cute, not necessarily coming of age, but more like coming of family tale of a mixed race family who came together following divorces, following other parts of their lives. They grew a business together. They're growing a wonderful family together, including 2 sets of twins. Anyone who has more than one set of twins, anyone who has one set of twins, I sending many prayers to you. But and that we kind of follow their process into they get a little bit of money, they learn how to take care of each other, and they're growing and becoming more honest with one another. It's really an honesty tale about a wonderful set of kids and their parents and just growing together.
Yes, completely agree.
So Kuya P, what was you're a dad?
Yeah.
Of absolutely beautiful and wonderfully talented guys. His daughter, super duper talented, like super duper talented. So what did you feel as a family film for this?
Oh, it was an amazing film. I was very surprised. So when it first was announced, I was like, I'll be straight up. Like, I've seen the first 2 original Cheaper by the Dozens, and thought were good films. Wasn't sure when they did the second one, like, do you really need to redo? Because the first one was kind of like a classic. And then here they did the second one. I was like, okay, I could see they wanted to get it for another generation. So they updated it a little bit. And it was a good film. So when this third film was announced and I was like, okay, interesting. And then we're going to have it be a mixed family. I was like, are we going to, I have to be straight up. Like, are we going to talk on it being a mixed family? Like, will that just be what we do to just show that we're woke or whatever, or this and the third, without really touching upon that as a subject, you know? And to my astonishment and surprise, it was actually a very central piece of this film. And so I was very happy that they talked on it, because it stares you in the face. Like, again, like you said with Turning Red, we need to have films that are for everyone and talk about everything and all issues. Representation matters. Authentic representation matters. And I was so happy and so delighted that it was a point of this film. And I really enjoyed it, more so than like I said, I went in like, but they knocked it out of the park. Gabrielle Union, Zach Braff, the entire cast was brilliant. They all played a part. It made sense. I really enjoyed it, and very pleasantly surprised that they touched upon mixed family, and being, that I have a mixed family, me being Filipino, my wife being African American, just those little nuances of, for a white father having a black child, how do what do you know about hair products? to, you know, taking care of certain elements. You know, they touched upon all these little nuances, which was brilliant. And overall showing family. But another thing that I wanted to point out as well is what I was very happy to see, and I'm curious for you as well, Heather, is, you know, Hollywood and entertainment kind of frameworks exes to be evil exes. You know, in this, while there's one of the exes kind of a little bit of an antagonist, or is it antagonist, protagonist? I'm not sure. It's still, there's a relationship there, and that we can work with our former loves, because there was a love there at one time, and then you also produce children with these loves, that there can be a healthy relationship with those exes, and that's what we see in this film as well. So I was delighted to see that, you know, that we can still have these relationships, we still have these children that are the number one thing we have to take care of, and so we can work those relationships. So just overall, and I want to give a lot of credit to the writer on this, who I'm a huge fan of, because he's the writer on Blackish, Grownish, hashtag Black AF, Kenya Barris. He was the writer on this and just did a brilliant job in melding all of these worlds together to create such a wonderful story.
Very, very true. It's I am the progeny of divorced parents who get along to the best of their abilities. You know, when it comes to divorce, even if it's very solid, even if it's very mutual, so there are just issues, disagreements. Yeah. And one of the great things about it was Timon, I think it's Timon, Kyle Durrett. And I'm gonna say all of the names
we
wrong.
might be right, we might be wrong, we don't know, but it's all good.
I apologize 1,000% about that. Who plays Dom Clayton, who is Gabrielle Union, Zoe Baker's ex-husband. He's not really, as you say, he's not really an antagonist. He's more like that button presser. He just knows how to get to that point, but it's neither good nor bad. It's in theory always for his children. Yes. And that is so important. It's not about breaking the dynamic of parenthood. It's, I want to be there for my children. And that was so inspiring, because there are many kids out there who are now grown up, who have children. I am sorry, not one of them. That's why I asked Kuya P to be with me. But it's who they are going to give off that exact same feeling to their children. And it's so important that parents, even if they're not on best of terms, that they come together and make the decisions for their kids. And that was just perfectly listed here. And seeing a professional football player then at the end dress up as Thor, it was great. You know, you got to do stuff for your kids.
I loved that. As the nerds in us were like, hey, cosplay. I love it.
But showing the family dynamic it's very, as you said, it's very rare to see in Hollywood, to see a quote unquote broken family in such a loving atmosphere. Especially with you have Erica Christensen, who plays Kate, who is Zach Braff, or Paul Baker's ex-wife. She's the kind of the live-in nanny, and you just see her and Zoe's relationship. Like, oh, I think at one point Gabrielle's like, she's like, oh God, help me. Like it's it's supportive, but at the same time, it's like, oh, you're still the ex. Come on.
It was so good, that relationship. That's what took me by surprise, that we can still coexist, and we don't see it because we don't see it enough. You know, we always portray them as evil exes, and so the fact that you can have a relationship, you know, also for the benefit of the children, but also just coexist is beautiful, and I was happy to see that. So well done, well played, well acted by everybody.
I did want to say, I did like that Kate, by the way, was considered the 12th child.
Yeah. and that makes you understand why their relationship didn't work out. It's very relatable, right? Sometimes, that happens with relationships. So no, it was awesome.
It was really cute. It was so much fun. It was surprisingly cute. Cute. I was much in the same. I kind of went into this film going, I don't know about this. And then I walked away pleasantly. I will happily say I was wrong. I will 1,000% say that my preconceptions were 100% wrong. So any final words? Try not to spoil anything, of course. Any final words on the movie?
I just love the entire cast. I was trying to look at some of the kids. The one that I'm most familiar with is Michael Michelle Harris, who plays Luna. She's in Grown-ish, or no, Mix-ish, and I love Mix-ish, and she is just a delight. There's a thing that's in the trailer that where Zach and her other, I guess, twin, where they're doing like a little dance thing, and Zach is like, no, you got to do this, and then like this. It's so cute, and I just love her timing, because again, I love her on Mix-ish, and so to see her now in this other work, and I just love her as a young actor. But just the entire cast, really all of them did their job, and I was very pleasantly surprised and happy with this film, and I highly suggest it and recommend it to other families. Yeah, and again, you don't have to be a mixed family. It doesn't have to be. This is a universal story we all can relate to, and that's the connective tissue that we should take with all these type of films. And that, going back to Turning Red, like how we opened, there's a universal theme. Connect with the universal theme. If you're not connecting with that, then like you said, go ahead, leave. I don't need you. Because not every film is meant for you. But there's universal things that binds us all, and that's it.
To go along with the kids, Andre Robinson, to all of the young baby goths out there who are nerdy, who are quiet, y'all are beautiful. Y'all are going to turn into something amazing. It is not a phase. It never has to be a phase. I am into my mid-30s, and my gothness never left me. Y'all are beautiful. Don't consider yourselves the out crowd, because guess what? Y'all are the cool in crowd. So DJ, nerd it up hardcore at Comic-Con and live your best goth life. I love it. And Andre Robinson played him. He was so cute. I loved him.
I'm really happy you brought that up. I really love that sequence, because my daughter is somewhat in a goth phase, anime phase right now. So I know when she watches it, she'll totally relate with that. But thank you for bringing that up, Heather. Yes, I think that was a great way to kind of also bring that up. That isn't talked about, and especially from an African-American standpoint, who are really, I have friends and mutuals that are going through that and are not sure how to deal with that. And so I love that this was portrayed in that fashion.
Just to tag in with that, if you are a blurred, if you are a goth, if you are a goth child of any type, you have a wonderful community out here. In honesty, it is thanks to blurs that we have anime in the way we do now, because of the fandom that has been built. So if you ever have any questions, if you ever want to talk about being a nerd, do it. There's a wonderful community of people out here. We want to talk about it. So do it.
Yes. I love it.
Guys, watch Cheaper by the Dozen. If you enjoy a family film, a cute family film, you don't have to have kids. If you just enjoy a cute family film, don't worry about the history of the name, either positively or negatively. Watch the movie. It is very cute. It has some great lessons in it. And it really talks about things that, once again, we need to talk about today.
Yes.
We need to talk about these things. So thank you guys so much. Kuya P, tell everyone where they can find you.
Thank you so much again, Heather. Always a pleasure to rock and roll reactions and reviews with you. For me, you can catch me at The Legend Kuya P on Twitter, TikTok, and IG. My show, Pal Show, where I talk about Philippine X representation. And of course, with Heather and the whole squad at the NRW Not Release Wednesday, where nerds rule the world. And you, Heather, how can we find you?
And who does all of this, so I'm like all backwards today, so I'm sorry. You can find me on Twitter at @NerdIsAHeather, or on Instagram and TikTok at HeatherIsANerd. You can continue to tell me how wrong I am about my preconceptions. I want you to do that, because that's what we need to break. Watch Cheaper by the Dozen. It is out on March 18th exclusively on DisneyPlus. Bye, guys.
Bye.